What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? Seven of Cups, Scorpio energy at the foundation of the reading. Okay, I feel that a lot of you are gearing up to make some sort of major decision in your life. And there seems to be this very distracting energy that is trying to get you to look over here instead of over there, right? It's an energy that's essentially trying to take your focus off of what it is you're trying to focus on. Now, we've been getting similar energies in some of the other readings, and I feel that there's this group of individuals that are in this transitionary period right now that is all aligned perfectly with the astrology at this time. Right now, we have this Mercury retrograde in Pisces, but as Mercury begins to go direct again, I feel that this is when the energy is going to start to shift. So right now, there seems to be this energy of preparation, and a lot of the preparation, I feel, is mental. It's like you're actually beginning to process certain dynamics about your situation in a way that I don't think you have before. It's like you're looking at certain situations in your life and noticing things that weren't clear to you up until now. You know, this could be you looking at somebody and seeing them in a light that you never have seen them in before. And this is causing you to make some sort of changes in your life. However, I feel that these changes have been a long time coming. It just seems to me that the path is beginning to clear up now. And that's exactly why we're getting so much distraction at the root chakra of your reading here. There's some sort of external force that, again, is trying to stop you from making these decisions to move forward on this path. Wow. Death card, Scorpio energy again at the sacral. And this couldn't be any clearer. The Seven of Cups at the foundation, right? So the stability of your life. This could have to do with your living situations. This could have to do with your career. It's just all things that make up your foundation, right? We're seeing that there's some sort of illusion there. There's some sort of distraction there. You know, I liken the Seven of Cups to smoke and mirrors, right? Again, people trying to get you to take your focus off of what you have your sights set on. Now, the Death card at the sacral is the transformation. There's a huge change inside this energy for all of you, and it has something to do with this newfound sense of passion that you have for your life, right? The sacral is that fire in your belly. So I feel that you're very charged up. You're very excited for what's to come now. Something shifted in you. It's like you have found, I just heard a second wind, right? So it's like you're starting to see that something is possible. It's like there's this very reinvigorated kind of energy that's beginning to flood through into your life. And there's so much potential and possibility here, and it's leading you to have this newfound sense of purpose. You know, I feel that a lot of you have never felt more aligned than you do in this very moment. It doesn't mean that everything is running smoothly or everything's perfect in your life. In fact, it's probably quite the opposite. Things are probably still very unknown to you, and things are probably all over the place energetically speaking. But the one thing you know is that you need to go that way, whatever that way is for you, okay? I feel that your path is very clear, and nothing is going to stop you from going in that direction. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Nothing is going to stop you from going in that direction. And we get the King of Wands, okay? So this is you making these very bold moves and decisions to, again, go in that direction. And you know, the King of Wands is also the card of the entrepreneur. You have a vision, and you're starting to see now that this vision is going to come to pass. All it requires in order to do so is the inspired action that you deposit into that space to make it happen, right? You know, I feel that a lot of you are coming from cycles where you had bad influence around you, or people weren't encouraging you to go down this path, right? Which makes it feel like it's almost impossible to achieve this. However, ever since you have started to see things differently, and you're quite possibly creating some sort of distance between you and these people, you're starting to see things in a much different way. You're starting to see that those visions are more than possible. They're actually written into your DNA. It's like they're all a part of your mission statement, which makes you look at these other energies, the Seven of Cups energies at the foundation, in a totally different way. This is one of these moments when you know you need to go in a certain direction. There's other energies that are trying to discourage you or tell you that you can't do that or make it feel like that's not possible or that's not your life path. It's like they're the enemy now. They're in direct opposition with what you're being guided to do. And this is a very difficult space to find yourself in because a lot of the times it's going to be energies, people that are very close to you. You know, I always mention that some of these people don't really know what they're doing, right? They're just NPCs. They're being controlled by some sort of alternate force that is trying to stop you from aligning with your path and purpose. And when these energies sort of come online and do this to us in our life, right? These are the NPCs. These are the Agent Smiths. It makes it feel like, well, it puts a whole lot of weight and confirmation behind what it is you are actually being guided to go towards. It's like, okay, well, why is there so much distraction? Why is there so much emphasis on trying to stop me from going down this path? It must be something pretty special. Otherwise, people just simply would not care, right? See, that's what I'm getting here. And I think that a lot of you are starting to think about all of this in a very similar way, right? It's like you're coming from a time where you didn't even think twice about all that. But now it's like you're stepping back, you're looking at things from a wider scope, and you're saying to yourself, hold on a second here. Why are these energies putting so much time and effort into stopping me from doing something here? And that thought in and of itself sparks a newfound sense of curiosity that I feel a lot of you are not going to be able to settle inside of yourself until you see it through. What do we have at the heart position, please, Spirit? 7 of Swords, unbelievable, at the heart position. Okay, yeah, there's a really weird energy that I'm picking up here for a lot of you, okay? This 7 of Swords is representing what these individuals have been doing, right? There's this very sneaky sort of energy here. This is also an energy of betrayal, right? So I see the swords quite often when I look at the 7 of Swords as your energy. It's like they're taking something from you. The swords can also represent ideas. So it's like you have these ideas. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm working on this. I'm going to go down this path. And then they meet you with some sort of discouragement or all the reasons why you shouldn't go down that path. It's like in some way, they're stealing those ideas from you. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're stealing them for themselves. It just means they're stealing them and just throwing them away, right? It's like the devil says to them, completely disarm them of their good ideas, of their drive, of their passion. That is your assignment. You stop them from following those true heart's desires by any means necessary. And that 7 of Swords is at the heart chakra, right? So it's like you have this true heart's desire, which is another way of speaking about you feeling that pull, you feeling something in your core, you feeling that you need to go in that direction no matter what. Something tells you that things are just going to go your way. And the 7 of Swords energy right here knows that you feel this pull inside of you. It's like their purpose in life is to stop you from reaching your purpose. And that's a really sad existence to have, right? The whole reason why they're here is to just stop you. You know, a lot of you have your worst enemy staring right at you. Some of these people are in your circle. And there's been something that has been trying to alert you to this. There's always been something kind of off about your relationship with some of these people. You can never quite put your finger on it. I'm hearing something here about you always feeling like you need to get them to sign off on something for others of you. There's a message about feeling as though you need them to validate the decisions you're making. And if they're not happy with the decisions you're making, then I guess you can't make those decisions. Now, I could see how this could be very much a possibility when it comes to family members, right? A lot of us will look to family members to sign off on decisions we're making, especially when you're in your younger years. That's actually very normal. And unfortunately, what we're starting to find out in this day and age we're living in, a lot of you are coming from families where you were held back, right? They did not have the capacity to support you beyond the point that they have evolved from, right? So a simple way of thinking about this is these individuals have only developed so much. And here you are exceeding all expectations, right? It's like you're a rocket ship, right? You're taking off. And they just don't have it within them to support you on a path that they themselves have never gone down, right? And it's not because they care about your safety or something like this. It's more about them feeling slighted by your growth, by your evolution. You know, this is something that narcissists do. They will not support you beyond their own evolution. It always has to be a step down from their top, so to speak. And let's face it, I feel a lot of these people have set the bar really low, yet they expect you to stay below that. I just heard very clearly they're lost in the sauce. It's like they have lost themselves inside the illusions and or distractions that they tried to cast into your life. You know, this is another way of speaking about everything that they have tried to project into your life going back to them. You know, a lot of the times when I look at the Seven of Swords, it's like they're looking back, but you're not there anymore, right? It's like you're gone. You've moved on. They're stuck in this cyclical cycle, these patterns that they expected to keep you stuck in forever. And now you're not there, and there they are, still playing the same old game. Nothing has changed, except now they're stuck in a house of horrors that is of their own making. What do we have at the throat, please? Wow. Five of Wands, Leo energy in reverse at the throat. The Five of Wands upright represents the obstacles, challenges, and or rivalry that they projected into your life, right? That's everything that they did to try and hold you back. Pairs perfectly with the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Swords, right? The Seven of Cups represents the emotional aspects of these attacks, and the Seven of Swords represents the mental aspects of these attacks. But when we have the Five of Wands in reverse, this is you now having moved on from these situations. They're still there, right? Fighting an imaginary fight against an individual, you, that has since moved on. This Five of Wands is telling us that you are no longer engaging. This is an energy that agrees to disagree, and that's just where it's at now. You're not trying to prove your point. You're not trying to prove anything. You're not trying to get validation for the decisions that you're making. You're not trying to get any sort of support for anything. You're over it. And I feel for a lot of you, the transits that we're experiencing, astrologically speaking right now, are what are supporting you now making these decisions. It's like we've had to go through this transit so all of you can come out the other side like a bat out of hell, right? It's like this transit allowed you to see everything that was always known to you intuitively. There's just something about the signs, the synchronicities that showed up in a way that you can't deny now. This transit is also highlighting the fact that a lot of the things that you felt intuitively, maybe things that people gaslight you about, were all true for the most part. And the gaslighting, for a lot of you, was the most painful part about all of this. You know, what's worse than somebody trying to tell you that your reality is wrong when it's actually right? It's like people trying to tell you that you're crazy to think something when it's actually true. This horrendous form of gaslighting that makes you question your own reality is one of the most despicable things that an individual can do to another person. Because not only are you trying to play God in their life, but you're messing with their mental wiring. And as far as I'm concerned, that is unforgivable, right? You can forgive for yourself, right, to be able to move forward and live in peace. But how do you come back from something like that with an individual, right? People who try to disrupt the very way that you interface with reality. That's what I'm getting here for all of you. And as hard as that is to process, it was actually necessary for you to see this. Because had you have not seen this the way you are now, you wouldn't be blazing a trail of fire towards this new beginning. There's not a bone in your body that is questioning what you need to do, where you need to go, what you need to engage with, whatever it is for you. The universe has arranged things in such a way to where it couldn't be clearer for you. Now, Five of Wands is also right there at the throat. So it's further highlighting what I said about agreeing to disagree, right? You're no longer engaging, right? Some of you may actually be communicating that in some capacity to completely diffuse the situation, because what you're starting to see now is it's not about being wrong or right for them. It's just about keeping you engaged in the battle and running out those precious life clock minutes. Right on the bottom of the deck, the Tower, Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy, right? So the Tower is representing the destruction that you bring to their plans by diffusing the situation and moving on. You're no longer playing into their trap here to keep you engaged in endless warfare. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Magician. Gemini, Virgo energy at the third eye. Perfect. And because of this, the portal opens. You reclaim your power by no longer feeling the need to use it in the capacity that they're trying to force you into using it. Your power now is being redirected into your path, into your potential, into your purpose. You're no longer wasting it on these situations, on these people. You're redirecting it and focusing it on bringing forward this vision that you have into your reality. It makes perfect sense that they did all this, right? It worked for a period of time until you finally saw the truth. Hey, wait a second here. All of my time and energy is into going fighting them, and it's keeping me from what I ultimately need to be doing. So of course, they're going to keep me engaged in this endlessly. And this is what Spirit has made clear to you now. The magician is right there at the third eye. Spirit saying, hey, enough's enough. It's time you knew the truth. You've always had the power to bring this vision forward into your reality. The magician has all four elements, but something was keeping you from seeing this. It could just be that being engaged in the endless warfare was impacting your vibration. So you lose hope, you lose drive, you lose passion. So you start to settle into an alternate lower vibrational timeline where bringing forward this manifestation and this vision for your life is just not possible, right? Everything is vibration. And you, with this magician of the third eye, are a master manifester. So of course, they are going to go for the very things that you need and use to bring forward these visions and manifestations. So they hit you where it hurts. All things that impact your vibration. They hit your emotions. They hit your mentals. They create endless warfare, stress, anxiety. They create endless obstacles, so you never have enough time or energy to focus on what's really important. Day after day, the days are just always lost. The goals are always pushed back. See, they know this. They just have to distract you long enough until eventually you're so worn down and just beat up by life that you just give up. Again, you just settle in. But Spirit has come through for all of you. Spirit has said, no, you don't get to take this one's visions away from them. They are far too important. So we're going to show them everything you did. And that truth is going to ignite a fire inside of them that will blaze a path to their destiny. What do we have for the crown, please, Spirit? Strength. Leo energy at the crown. Wow. Look at these 7 cards. We've got some heavy hitters here. Death card, King of Wands, Magician, and Strength. These are 4 of the most powerful cards in the tarot. This is all about passion and the fire of creation and the strength that you harness from within to make it happen. Spirit's got your back here. Spirit's showing you things about yourself that I don't even think you even knew existed. There's a new kind of confidence. There's a new kind of knowing. There's a new kind of inner strength that you've been given access to. And it's on the ashes of this truth. For some of you, this is a pain that you had to accept, which is what ignited this flame inside of you. The truth of what's been taking place, the truth of who you really are, the things that dreams are made of. It's like you find yourself pinching yourself. Is this my life? I'm really this person? Everything they said about me or everything they made me feel about myself was the opposite of truth. It was just some alternate reality that they tried to keep me encased in so I would never align with my path. A part of you feels like you let yourself down, right? Back then when you were in these cycles, but you didn't know any better. However, that feeling is a part of the process because it's that feeling that leads to you never letting yourself down again, so to speak. You lift yourself up. You put yourself first now. You trust yourself and your intuition and that inner knowing. Nobody can tell you otherwise anymore. Nobody can gaslight you anymore. You're no longer allowing other people's opinions to stop you from trusting your own intuition. Look at this right on the bottom of the deck. Ace of Wands, Queen of Wands. Okay, so this is all about the power of creation, inspired action, and you now having the confidence to get the job done. Okay? King of Wands, Queen of Wands, Ace of Wands, Strength card. All the fire signs are being represented here. All right, let's get into the second row. What do we have at the foundation, please, Spirit? Hermit. Man. Virgo energy at the foundation of the reading. Now, the Hermit card is further emphasizing the Seven of Cups, because Hermit from this deck reads as Hermit in reverse, right? It's like the Hermit's going the opposite way. And look, he's aging out, right? Remember how I mentioned taking those precious life clock minutes away from you until you finally just give up? So all of this distraction, all of these illusions, all of this, hey, look over here, don't look over there, is to lead you to this, right? Just lonely, beat down by life, feeling like everybody has forgotten about you, feeling like there's no time left to make any big changes. That's where they wanted you to end up. That was the whole purpose behind their mission here. Keep hammering away until you just can't take it anymore. Again, you just settle in, right? You withdraw. You abandon hope. You just stay in that old cyclical cycle and you never leave. That's where they wanted you. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Cups, also Scorpio energy. So the Six of Cups from this deck speaks about them wanting you to think that your expectations for your visions, for your life, for yourself were unrealistic. They wanted you living in the past so they can, I just heard, so they can control your reality. They thought you were a science project. That's how depraved these individuals are, right? That's how they think. What do we have at the sacral, please? Temperance, Sag energy underneath the Death card at the sacral. The Temperance card from this deck is Temperance in its shadow. So this is an energy of complete chaos. It's also an energy that wants to steal your long-term visions away from you, right? It's a never-ending pursuit to create so much imbalance and stress, so much disruption in your life to where you just can't move forward anymore. You just give up. You forget. You no longer feel the need to want anything more. I mean, all of this is just speaking about completely stealing your hope away from you. You know, if someone can steal your hope away from you, they got you. I mean, that's it. Because when you have hope, you can go to hell and back. You can hit rock bottom a dozen times, but that hope keeps you going. And that hope is what lets you know that eventually things will be better again. I'm also hearing that this is just another way of saying they try to take your hope, but I just heard something about your hierarchy of needs, right? So just the basic things that we all need as human beings to feel like we have a place here, right? It's like they tried to impact all of these things so you would need them in some capacity, or you would need to lean on someone or something else external to you. You know, when you get to a point in your life where you don't need anyone, right? Doesn't mean you don't want other people around, but when you don't need anyone, when you can take care of you and all your needs yourself, you're untouchable. No one can mess with you anymore. And a lot of the times when you're able to achieve that, this is when some of the most special relationships come into your life. You're more discerning. The connections and relationships you have with people aren't based on anything other than the goodness of the relationship, of the connection. That's why when people go through these major transformations in their life like this, and they start to cut people off or move away from certain energies, do we actually start to see these people aligning with their soul tribes? People that are just like them. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Seven of Swords again. Aquarius energy right underneath that King of Wands. 2 Seven of Swords in a single spread is a lot. But the Seven of Swords from this particular deck is you breaking free of this now, right? It's like you've broken free. They're looking over their shoulder, right? And you're gone. It's like you've completely disengaged. The Seven of Swords also speaks about you releasing yourself from some sort of mental challenges, right? So this could be the gaslighting. All of a sudden, you see through it all. And now they know that you know what they were doing to you this entire time, right? And you've moved on without even having to say anything about it, right? Which is leaving them having to sit with themselves and marinate in the fear. Oh, what do they know? Do they know everything I did to them, right? Because your silence is just deafening at this point. And this is really the only way that you can deal with energies like this. There is no winning. There is no compromise. Like we mentioned, that's not their goal here. Their goal here is to steal time away from you, steal energy away from you. They know exactly what they're doing. And it's hard for a lot of you to even accept this, right? Because again, of how depraved that level of thinking is. How would anybody put their time and energy into doing that to another person, right? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But as we concluded already, this is their purpose, right? Just even hearing myself say that, it's like, man, life is so wild, right? But this is true. I've seen it time and time again. I've experienced this sort of stuff firsthand in my own life. I know how this feels. And this is why I can read this energy the way that I can, because I've been through this. But you got to know that these sorts of messages, this sort of realization is your one-way ticket, right? Your one-way ticket to the top. Just another way of speaking about where you're headed. The truth is the fuel for the fire. And it's not a fire that burns from anger or resentment. It's a fire that burns with passion. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Cups again. Okay, so that's very interesting. Seven of Swords, Seven of Swords, Seven of Cups, Seven of Cups. So this Seven of Cups, a leopard can't change their spots, right? This is all they know. They only know how to play their part into trying to bring you down. That's it. They don't know anything else. They're never going to change. You'll never get them to see the light. You'll never get them to see it your way. And that truth and understanding is the hardest part about all of this. You're not wasting any more time waiting for something to change, because it's never going to. What do we have at the heart position, please? Whew. Knight of Wands. It says right there, scandal. The Knight of Wands from this deck is a very reckless, very chaotic energy, just further confirming everything we've been saying. This is who they are. This is never going to change. I'm also hearing that some of you have been dealing with situations where you have been led to believe that something will change, right? I mean, this is something that everybody's dealt with. Oh, I'll change, I'll get better. But nothing ever does, right? And time is just ticking away while you're waiting for somebody to change who never will. There's also something here about some of you out there continuously forgiving somebody who keeps doing the same thing to you over and over again. Given the fact this is the Knight of Wands, this could speak about those of you out there that are in really toxic relationships with people that don't respect you, right? They just keep stabbing you in the back. They keep doing something to break your heart. And yet you're still putting up with it, right? But this truth, again, that we have coming through in this reading is being seared into your reality. You cannot deny it. And you would be doing yourself a great disservice if you didn't do something about this. You'd really be letting yourself down, right? Justice, Libra energy. Unbelievable. This is you bringing justice into your own life with the truth that Spirit is showing you. And see how Lady Justice there is blindfolded, right? Justice is blind. So it's to say that it doesn't matter who these people are, who they once were to you. If they're friends, family members, whatever it is, you are now judging them based on their treatment towards you, not whether you have the same blood running through your veins as them. These things do not matter. And she has the scales right there, right? As soon as I looked at that, I thought, weighing their hearts, the weighing of their actions. This is what represents their wickedness. How heavy are those hearts when weighed against a feather? What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Too many cards. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? The Chariot. Cancer energy. Victory. Perseverance, success in conflict, overcoming adversity. The Chariot and the Magician, which surround this Five of Wands, sort of creates a barrier to some of these other energies here, is highlighting your focus now, your determination, the fire, right, in your belly. It's like you're really charged up and you're moving forward with a lot of speed and power, right? You're blazing that trail. It's like this truth, this realization is just ignited. Something inside of you. I feel it. It feels exciting. It feels like something that has been lying dormant for a lifetime. Some of you could be moving. Some of you could be traveling. There's just a lot of movement here now. And it's on the back end of this situation. And on this card, we see Archangel Michael, right? He's trampling over this beast. The beast is just representing everything you have overcome. It's like the divine is with you. The divine is protecting you. The divine is now clearing your path. Because you made the decision to say enough's enough. You reached out and you grabbed onto the divine's hand and you said, I'm ready. Let's go. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Whew. What a card to follow what I just said. Judgment. Pluto, Scorpio energy, right? God hidden in darkness. It's like the divine has been standing by this entire time. The divine's like, oh, we've been waiting for you. It says right there, destroys the power of enemies and humiliates them, right? This is the awakening. This is the rebirth. This is you accepting your mission. This is you saying, no more. I'm not putting up with this anymore. This is that moment when you realize everything you have gone through up until the very breath you are taking right now had to happen exactly the way it did, to turn you into the person you are now becoming. You see that now. And this is why you are pushing forward with so much power, not even looking back. You realize that you don't need to engage. The lesson has been learned. The wisdom has been gathered. All you care about now is following the guidance, following the mission statement toward your destiny. All right, what do we have at the crown to close this out, please, Spirit? What an ending. Towards your destiny. And what do we get? The Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is your legacy. This is the result of you following this path and higher guidance. This is the vision completely realized. What do you think the magician is trying to manifest? The Ten of Pentacles. The honorable God, inner and outer work, helps one keep their job and protects against disasters. This is you realizing that you have a job to do. Your divine assignment is directly connected to all of this. This is what they tried to take away from you. There's a fire that has been ignited inside of you that feels like it's been dormant for 100 years. There's an unbelievable amount of power in this reading here, and it couldn't be any clearer. So whoever you all are out there that needed to hear this, I certainly hope the message has been received and that you know exactly what you need to do. So with that, I will leave it here. All right, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Also, consider giving this reading a hype, as it will help to get the video in the algorithm and push it out to other people who may need the reading. If you would like to join the membership section of my channel, you can click on the join button or find the link down below. I upload additional videos there each month. So go check it out. Those readings are quite potent because I pick up on a smaller collective of individuals. I'm also running a 15% off sale at PLUTOBEANstudio.com, where I have a number of items which are extensions of the creative output of my channel. You can see a lot of the items in the sidebar and also down below this video. So go check it out if you want to see some of the other things that I've been working on. I also still have some limited spots open for personal readings. You can find that information down below in the description. I also wanted to thank everybody who's been donating to my channel lately. Your donations help keep my channel going, so thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. But lastly, I would like to know how this reading resonated with you. So leave me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.